Okay, everybody, welcome to the Uncomplicated Kitchen. We're doing lentil sloppy joes today, and I am pumped because groceries are expensive and meat is not that great for you. We all kind of know it. So even if you eat a little bit, you can learn how to stretch these things that you love by adding some plant-based ingredients like lentils. Lentils come in many different colors and many different shapes and sizes, and we are going to talk about sort of the differences of each as we go. So, I did an ingredient roll call with everybody, and I think we're just going to dive in and start cooking. We need to get our lentils going. So, I'm using like a medium sized Dutch oven. This is what I'm going to use for everything because I don't like doing dishes. Y'all know that. So I'm using something that can work for every single thing we're making, except for the coleslaw. We're not cooking that. So we need to get our 1 cup of green lentils. Where are mine? Where did I put my lentils? Oh, there they are. Okay, so I just rinsed them. That's all I did, and I kind of sifted through to make sure there was no like rogue things like little pebbles in them. And they're going right in my sauce pot. Okay, and then we're gonna do 2 cups of water. The truth is that y'all could do something like vegetable broth if you wanted to, but you know that I hate using ingredients just because, and I gotta be honest, it's not gonna do a whole heap for this. So save the money and the effort and honestly just use water. So 1 cup of lentils to 2 cups of water. And unlike Jenna normally does, we're not adding any salt to this. This is atypical. Some people think that the lentils will degrade a little bit more in the cooking process if you add salt. But because we're doing so much to this after the fact and we're going to simmer it for a really long time in the sauce that we're making, it's going to infuse even more flavor. So I'm not going to worry about the salt even. So 2 cups of water, 1 cup of green lentils. You can put your lid on or not at this point. The whole point, we're going to bring this up to a boil and then down to a simmer. Okay? So obviously you want to crank your heat all the way up because we're bringing something up to a boil, but we just want to be vigilant. And as soon as we see it come up to a boil, we're going to securely put that lid on there and we're going to turn it down to a simmer. So it's our only job right now. Okay, you let me know when you're ready. While that's sort of happening, we're going to work on our slaw. Because we want to get that marinating a little bit. We're doing a very simple slaw in like kosher delis and like a lot of delis. I know definitely in South Florida, they have something that's called a health salad. And I am making health salad. That's what this is. It's like a mayo-less coleslaw. It's light and it's fresh and it's delicious and it goes with so many things. And it's like, to be honest, I most of the time prefer this to the mayonnaise coleslaw. Do I love mayonnaise? Obviously, of course I do. You know that. But today we're not going for that look. We're going for something fresh to offset the richness of this lentil dish because this is going to be rich. You're going to be kind of surprised if this is lentils when all is said and done. So is everyone ready to make coleslaw? The thing about this recipe is you can make as much as you want. My recipe that I gave you is like suggestions for amount, but more cabbage, less cabbage, more pepper, less pepper, genuinely up to you. I'm going to use this whole adorable little baby head. It's like a softball because my mom will eat this all in one sitting because she loves vegetables. So I'm going to show you how I break down a cabbage. It's not that hard, but some people are still not quite sure how to get into it. There are a couple ways. With a cabbage, do not recommend doing the thing that you can do with iceberg lettuce. And that's like slamming it down on its core. And the core will break free if you do that in iceberg lettuce because it's very loose in there. This is like a snug head of cabbage, which is one of the reasons it stays, good in your fridge for so long. It's very snug, very tight. So we can't do it like that. So what I do is I'm just going to go down the sides and I'm going to Just work my way around the core. Just like that. And it's gonna kind of break naturally where it wants to. And there, I just broke off the top of it, and this is the core. That's it. It's gonna live in our compost. So it becomes soil for another plant. Okay, so we're gonna finally shred this cabbage. And y'all know, if you have any questions along the way, Hayden, look at you! Hi, Hayden! Okay, so y'all know like how to shred a cabbage. We've done this before if you cook with me. All we're gonna do is, it doesn't matter which way you do it because it's all these layers are like all around. So just pick a side and just start cutting it really, really finely. The thinner you make your slices, the wispier and more delicate your coleslaw is. And you can even cut this further by like, cutting it in half first. But I like the long shreds, honestly, so I'm not doing that. But if you want to, I'm not going to stop you. Okay, so we're just going to cut up that whole cabbage. Ideally, you'll have about 4 cups for this recipe if you want to like do it exact. But I got to say, it's going to be great no matter what you do. And remember, we're going to want to keep an eye on those lentils. If you have a sous chef in the kitchen with you, like Jessica and Hayden do, it's going to be fine because you got somebody else watching. But luckily, this is right in my face and I can see what's happening. Okay, so they've come up to a boil. And what I'm doing is I'm popping my lid on and I'm turning this way down to a simmer. Okay, that means low. Depending on your oven or your stove, if you have like a gas range, it's going to be a lot more obvious what low is. Sometimes on an electric, it's not so easy to tell. So we're just going to be mindful. A simmer is still bubbling, right? But it's gentle bubbles. We're not seeing like a bunch of splashing. It's just gentle. The bubbles still will break the surface, but it's not going to be like this wild, rapid thing. So just a simmer. And we're going to do this for about 17 minutes. So I'm going to set my timer. Okay, so I'm setting my timer. We want these lentils to still have a bite, but we don't want them to be too firm. So we're looking for tender, not soft. Those are really, really different terms today. And so we're going for tender, not soft. Okay, so my timer is set. I'm just going to continue with this cabbage. And if y'all have any questions, please do yell. I like when people shout out at me. And if I forget to do something, please remind me. This is a group effort. We mess up together. We do well together. The only thing we can't do is clean together. And we have some new folks with us today that's really exciting. I'm going to introduce them in a second. Okay, I've got cabbage and I'm going to put it in a bowl. Okay, so it's just going in a big bowl. That's it. Got some weird stuff in the middle of this cabbage. I'm just going to take it out. So as you can see, I have nice long shreds, right? That's what I like is the long shreds. You can chop it. Chopped coleslaw is obviously chopped, so it doesn't have these big old pieces. But I like it. It's like veggie spaghetti. And I think it just kind of stays on the sandwich a little better. Okay, so all that cabbage from that tiny, tiny little head. Bingo, right there. Very exciting. And do take a peek to make sure you're simmering. Just give it a peek and then put your lid back on. It doesn't want to be bothered. Okay, now we're going to do other ingredients, y'all. So we have to cut stuff both for our coleslaw and our lentils. So we can do double duty at the same time if you want. Is everyone ready to cut up their pepper? Yep, okay, it seems like everyone's good. So I'm using a yellow pepper just because it's pretty and it'll work fine in both the lentils and the coleslaw. I think, in my opinion, red, yellow, and orange peppers are completely interchangeable. No big deal. Ew, this one has a soft spot. Get out. Yeah. Almost stuck my pepper through the, yeah, stuck my finger through the pepper side. Ew. Okay, back to that. So the sweet peppers, the red, yellow, and orange are completely interchangeable. They taste just about the same. The green ones are the ones that taste completely different. They are definitely not as sweet. And the green peppers are always an unripened state of one of the others. That's generally how it is. There are, and I grow a lot of peppers, and I still have yet to see a pepper that's final state is green. If anyone knows any different, please let me know. But green is always the unripened state, which means that its sugars have not developed, which means that it's definitely less sweet, and I think is more assertive in flavor. I think when I'm making beans and rice or something, a green pepper is definitely what I want. I love that green pepper flavor in many, many applications, but in this, I don't. But if you do, have at it. You do you. It's totally gonna be fine. Okay, so I'm gonna cut this pepper, and the way I cut a pepper is I just go around the outside and I cut those lobes off. It mostly helps me avoid the seeds and like not making a mess all over my cutting board. And you know, you can just kind of throw that in your compost pile and grow some peppers for later. Fun fact about growing peppers is you cannot just save seeds from any old pepper. It has to be a fully ripened pepper in order for it to grow. Learned that a few years ago. It's true. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we need half of this pepper for our lentils and half of this pepper for our coleslaw. For the coleslaw, I wanna do long ribbons, okay? So I'm gonna take a big chunk of pepper like this, and I'm gonna cut it as thin as possible, as thin as I can manage, the longest direction. I want everything in my coleslaw to kind of have that same shape. And because I went for the long ribbons of cabbage, I also want to have long, pretty pieces of pepper. I just like it like that. And then when the pepper softens because of the vinegar and all that, and the salts, it will look very pretty, kind of all mixed in. And if you want to use extra pepper, go for it. You can use as much as you want. If you want to use another pepper, go for it. There's never a wrong way to make coleslaw. Really, the veggies are up to you. So my pepper is going to go right in that bowl. Y'all have like radishes hanging out in your drawer. It's totally radish season. You can definitely add some radishes to this. That would be great. And radishes have that peppery bite that is really nice in coleslaw. Fun thing about radishes too, they're really great chopped up in cream cheese. That's the way I like to eat radishes. I'm not the biggest radish fan, but I do like them pickled, and I do like them swimming in some cream cheese on an everything bagel specifically. Does anyone have any questions so far? This is pretty easy. We are just prepping our veggies. Nothing happening. We're just using this lovely little pocket of time while our lentils are cooking. About cutting a pepper, you should always cut a pepper from the inside out for two reasons. One, the outside of the pepper is slippery and it's a bit thick and it doesn't want to be cut, right? If it's like damaged, it has less of a chance of, carrying on its lovely lineage and becoming another pepper someday. So it's got this protective wall on the outside, but the inside, however, is much easier to cut through. Because it's easier to cut through, it's not only going to be a bit, it's less slippery than the outside of a pepper because it doesn't have that skin, but also it's a lot more gentle on your knife. And so it's not going to dull your knife as quickly. So cut your peppers from the inside out. Okay? Easy peasy. Okay. So now, I'm just going to go wild abandon here. I told you all my recipes are suggestions. And if you have any stuff hanging around in your veggie drawer that's kind of going soft, coleslaw and lentils, good time to use those things because they're gonna break down anyway and get soft. So soft produce is awesome here. So this is what I got right now. Just got some pretty stuff in cabbage. Okay. Things you can also add to coleslaw, even though it's not my preference, you can add onion to coleslaw. As much as I adore onion, I don't really like it in coleslaw, but that's an option. If you're a person who gets a hold of kohlrabi every now and then, kohlrabi is awesome in a coleslaw. I already mentioned radishes being a fantastic thing in coleslaw. You can julienne some of those up, throw them in there. The only other thing that I said that we were going to add is carrot. And so I had a carrot kind of getting a little soft. It's not looking, like it's in its best state. So that's the one that I'm going for first. So with the carrot, there are a couple options with doing a carrot. One, and this is my favorite, is just to use your darn vegetable peeler, okay? Like this is how we make zoodles, right? I do this with zucchini if I don't feel like actually getting out a spiralizer. I will cut long strips of zucchini and then cut it into thinner pieces to resemble noodles. We're gonna do the same thing right now with a vegetable peeler. If you wanna hack at it with your knife, by all means. But carrots are round and I encourage you to stabilize one side of it first, just to keep your little fingers safe. But if you do have a vegetable peeler, since we're going for that long, beautiful strand in my coleslaw, I want long, beautiful carrot pieces. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna peel into this carrot and I'm gonna get those long ribbons. This is also a really fun thing to do if you're ever making like a ribbon salad. You can get those multicolored carrots that are just beautiful. And you could, do a ribbon salad just by using your veggie peeler. Veggie peelers have a lot more uses than just getting the outside of stuff off. I think it's a great way to cut thinly. If you don't have a mandolin, I have a mandolin. Watch your fingers every time you use that thing. But if you don't, and you want to make really thin slices of something, a veggie peeler is an outstanding, inexpensive option. Everything is more fun when it's in ribbons, and you know that. Everybody knows ribbons are great. And they're fun textured. I really like the texture of these. If you ever want to do like a quick pickle, and it's kind of what we're doing right now with this coleslaw, to be honest, except for not making a hot brine. If you ever want to do a quick pickle, you can use these these little shreds of carrot and make a hot brine, pour it over, maybe some habanero pepper, yum, and just throw those on sandwiches. It's a good time. We're going to be making pickles again really soon. Okay, so look what I have here. My veggie peeler did that. It's super pretty, and I'm going to leave them just like that, and I'm going to throw that right in my bowl because they're beautiful. And I like when all those shapes match. So I'm in good shape here. This is going to be beautiful. Okay, so our lentils are almost done. I took a peek at mine and they're absorbing that water. This is what we want. That's how those lentils get soft, is they're taking in that water. So if we do this right, we should have very little liquid left over. But nonetheless, we're going to drain them out. So what you're going to have to do is get out a fine mesh strainer or something, or a colander with very small holes. And we're just going to dump this out, and we're going to build our sauce right in this same pot, okay? We're going to be bouncing back and forth today a little bit because part of what I think makes a happy kitchen is using your pockets of time to do things like prep the next step or do some dishes. That way you don't have a sink full of dishes by the time you're, ready to eat. So my lentils are almost done. I've got less than a minute. So what we're going to do when our timer goes off is we are going to taste them. And they will not be mush. They should not be mush. And I will be talking about why certain lentils work for some dishes and why